Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Talent League Titan Series. Well, and boy, oh boy, do we have some matches for you today. We have some decider matches, and well, I am your host, Velocity. Joining me on the desk is none other than Pooble. Pooble, how are we doing tonight?
Doing good, doing good. We're prepping for this little mini heat wave in the UK where we've got like a little bit more heat than usual and everyone will just laugh at us because we'll all die here. But suffering from the pollen a bit, we're going to get through this nice and quick. We've got a wonderful set of matches for today. Two decider matches, as you said, starting off with WhiteTigerZ versus BTD, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, decider match, this does decide who goes through into playoffs, and this does decide also who comes up short and doesn't get that spot in playoffs. Well, nonetheless, though, Pooble, we are on Clubhouse, if I am not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe we are in Clubhouse, and that's pretty interesting for the side of BTD because cast your mind back just a week ago, they had that sort of heartbreaking 8-7 loss to the side of TT9. It was a map they were up 4-2 on their attacking half on Club. So you really would have thought they'd sort of, clutch it out there and then get it done, get another win on the board. Unfortunately, things didn't quite go their way in that map. And, well, maybe WhiteTigerZ have seen this more as a weakness, or that BTD just sort of can't seem to get across the finish line in Clubhouse. And, just decide a match, you want to exploit those weaknesses, counter-strat as much as possible. So it definitely shows that WhiteTigerZ are very confident going into this map.
Most definitely. And, well, as you said, BTD do come up short ever so slightly every time on Clubhouse. And, well, nonetheless, we know Clubhouse is kind of an even map nowadays. And, well, it's slightly defender-sided still, but, not as much as it used to be. But with Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs, they are starting on the defense as well, people. So, going into this, what are your, sort of expectations for the first sort of, should we call it the first half, the first split of this map?
Yeah, well, starting on the defense gives BTD a lot of sort of time to build that momentum. They're on that easier side, as you said. I'm sure most people agree. The defense is just sort of easier. You get to hold angles. The attack have to come to you. So it's really just a good place to really start building that momentum, get into the game, get into the mindset of being just being in match day. So if they can keep the momentum rolling, get a 4-2, maybe even a 3-3 half, and continue that sort of superstar-wrecking performance we saw against TT9, we could definitely see this sort of slip away from WhiteTigerZ. But at the same time, this is clearly a map both teams are comfortable on. They've picked it in such a crucial matchup here. So, very easily see it go the other way. WhiteTigerZ, they've proven to be a good team in a variety of leagues. I also would sort of say that the pressure of this being an elimination match, WhiteTigerZ is kind of favoured there. That sort of core has been together longer. So, it's a bit of a toss-up on who I think is going to take this. I would expect to see BTD slightly slip away with it, though.
Going into this match, then, for me, people, I mean, I am completely neutral. I see both sides. BTD had an amazing performance against TT9, did slip away, but went to max OT. But as you said, WhiteTigerZ is a very strong team, and while BTD do always slip away on this side of Clubhouse, so I'm completely neutral. I have no idea where this can go.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a case of will BTD choke a second time, or will they actually manage to pick up that win, or will WhiteTigerZ just run away with it? Maybe there's a lot of different variables here. You've got to consider the overall context of the match, but it's all well and good as waffling here. But I do think we've got a match to go to, if I'm not mistaken, Lewis.
Most definitely, Pooble. Well, thank you very much, and we'll see you in just a few minutes' time on the desk with me once again. But nonetheless, let's shoot it over to our casters, Puffer, Bob, and Reprint. It's over to you guys.
Hello, hello, hello. I get to be back on casting. You may have remembered me from yesterday. Look a little bit different. I'm going in partner look today with Puffer. Puffer, how you doing? I get to cast with you again. It's been a little bit.
It's been a little bit, but we got the shades. We're ready for Clubhouse, and nonetheless, I mean, these teams, we don't know much about them. We couldn't gather much intel on them, but most definitely, like our lovely host said, it's going to be quite neutral, which could make for an entertaining match, or it could be one-sided like some matches. But without further ado, I mean, do we have the teams ready?
One of the teams is not ready yet. We'll be waiting for a few more minutes, and in the meantime, I mean, you said we don't really have information on these teams, and that's true outside of this league, but within Titan Series, both of these teams have gone to overtime against TT9. That's certainly, nothing to scoff at. So both of them have the capabilities to take the same team to overtime, even with slightly different rosters. As we're now going to get into the game, So I quickly want to run you through. BTD, they've had a good performance so far. Uh, they've had some differences in rosters. I don't think they've been playing with the same people every single time.
Mhm.
But WhiteTigerZ as well. They've had Critical before. I don't know if he's playing at the moment. I can't seem to see him. Probably because of the sunglasses. We're moving into the ban phase of Clubhouse. Do you see anything specific? Do you see anything surprising? I would expect a Dokkaebi maybe.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm expecting a Dokkaebi as well. On the defense, I would just go for normal, Solus, Zami ban, or one of those two. But actually, it's going to be Ace, which isn't too, rare to see, especially with his hard breach devices. And maybe, just maybe since BTD is defending first, maybe there's going to be a bit of a hold on CC cash. Maybe we're going to be seeing one of the sites that isn't as common as it used to be. But for the second one, it's going to be a very nice Maverick, which again, I mean, hard breaches are not hard on this map, so I'm kind of hoping we're going to be most likely seeing some CCTV and cash.
Yeah, every time I predict an operator in the operator ban phase, they do not get banned. I'm not very good at this whole predicting bans in my casting. It's every single time. I say an operator that I absolutely expect to be taken out because I've seen it banned loads and loads of times within the meta on this map. And then every single time, at just disappointment. I cannot get a single ban right to save my life. Instead, we have two hard breacher bans. We have a Mira ban, which is fairly common on this map, I would say. Kite is not really that much of a thing that you want to take out anymore because you don't ban Thatcher anymore, and Thatcher and Kite really have that counterbalance to one another the same way that I would say Flores and Azami counteract one another. And so if you're not taking out one, why bother taking out the other? So Kite has fallen out of favor in the ban phase. Instead, we're taking out Mira and Solus. Solus, relatively new operator, very oppressive in terms of information gathering.
Oh, yes.
So taking that out is going to make it a hell of a lot easier to get some drones into some sneaky positions for the attack.
Yeah, it used to be cool. Oh, we have pre-play drones. We can put them on stairs to see if anyone's on the top floor. You could clear out a floor almost in seconds, but no. With this new Solus coming out, it's going to be a bit of a change. And to be honest, Reprints, I'm not going to lie with you. I feel like your prediction luck at this point, you could mention half of the Siege roster, and it would, and the end, boom, Caveira. Something among the lines of that, but, still, to be honest, I personally was expecting Dokkaebi as well. I mean, Dokkaebi is one of the stronger operators, especially just with kind of how the impact DMPs work, with the ability to just erase any nearby roamers. So, although we don't have that, we're going to be seeing the newest operator, aka Fenrir, which, I'm still quite interested to see what potential he could bring to the actual match.
Yeah, right. New operator, always exciting. There's a lot that you can do with that. It can be used as information gathering. You can use it like an Elamine or a Thorin gadget, but you can also use it aggressively to, prowl on people that maybe aren't expecting it. Because if you catch somebody off guard, you're not only getting information, but you're also limiting their visibility. So you can swing them, and they won't have any idea about it. So you can just take them down.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the scary part about it. You can see their entirety, and as much as they see, it's pretty much just a black screen, so not much of a fight they can put up there. But, I'm still interested, they did ban the Dokkaebi, which you predicted, and it's now getting used. I like to see, strong operators that don't get taken out get put into the play. Even if the strategy doesn't intend it, they still somehow manages to get in sync. If the Mira isn't banned, they don't always use it, but if they can, I feel like it would be much preferable. As right now, it seems like it's going to be a bit more of a top clear on the roamers. I mean, definitely, especially here with most maps that you can play very vertical on aggressively as an attacker, you do want to extend a bit or protect that as a defender to, not allow the attackers to do as they will. But it seemed like it's pretty heavy. I mean, we have the Goyo, the Mute, and all the Fenrir just focusing on the blue kind of bar side.
Yeah, a very impressive clear from the side of WhiteTigerZ, just getting a lot of drones underway to get that top floor cleared out. It costs them a lot of time. Ultimately, they do get control of the top floor, but they still have to deal with Rostin. He's going to be inside of bar, but no, he gets taken down by P13. That's the opening pick for WhiteTigerZ. Not sure how much information they had on him, but they certainly are able to win the gunfight. And so Fenrir's down for the count. Of course, the gadgets that he's deployed, they all should be active. If he hasn't used those codes, then it's going to be too late now. That's something you have to be careful about with this operator. But about a minute left to play with, and we have a slight advantage for WhiteTigerZ. Den is still in a position that he might not be expected in, though.
Yeah, I mean, Dan and Cat Solar could be a bit of a threat in the late game, especially with upcoming flanks. I mean, right now it's going to be a bit of a challenging fight. We already see the SMG come out. He gets one, and he gets the second one. A shot, getting the one tap onto Krugi, and of course, actually onto Levo. Krugi is going to be the one that gets downed. And wow, kind of changing the tides very quickly just with one peek. And one small mistake from the side of WhiteTigerZ is going to be completely changing it up. And now it's going to get really aggressive onto the side of Church. You know, it's going to be a triple kill from the side of Den, P13 as well. And of course, a very nice head peek onto Church head holes. Now it's a 2v2 situation. Church is pretty much taken over, so the fuse could be going down. But blue isn't clear exactly in armory as well. So this is going to be getting pretty heated.
15 seconds, Execute has to come through now. Is there going to be a plant attempt by Critical, or do they go for kills? No, Plant starts to get stuck down. He's going to have to stick this. He won't have time to fall off of it. P13 takes another gunfight, tags down the Goyo. Plant goes down. Now he gets injured, though, by Den. Den, he potentially has 4 kills here. The one gets killed off, and no, it's Den with the ace. A beautiful 5k. It was immovable object versus unstoppable force, and ultimately it was Denster that was able to win it out. It was just P13 versus Den in that round.
I mean, oh my god, Den, you gotta calm down. It's the first round and we're already getting this strong. I mean, he was just kind of chilling out in stock for pretty much like 2 minutes, and then just one small peek got him the 2. Then he decided to get a bit more aggressive from the side of blue and just to finish it off to afford the defuse and, you know, getting the BTD or Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs the first round and round number 1. So, you know, not a bad start. I mean, they were in the most preferred side, aka downstairs, and now we're going to be moving to Gym, which, you know, Gym isn't bad either. Especially this is also one of the places where kind of Castle got introduced into the meta, and bandit tricking was also in the place. So maybe, hopefully, we're going to be seeing some good old bandit tricks.
Yeah, right. Some good sportsmanship in the meantime coming out between these two teams. You do have to consider WhiteTigerZ. You know, they're a German team. Zarok also German. They also have BZ Sommer in the roster. So there's quite a lot of German presence in this game, which is why it's hard for me to put a bet down on who I really want to win. Of course, WhiteTigerZ, German org, German players, but there is still Zarok. And BTD, they've really shown how capable they are, both against TT9 and against you know, their other opponent. I think it was 82 in this group. And so both of these teams definitely deserve to go through to the playoffs. The problem is that they're in the group together with TT9. So TT9 is going through, and these two will now have to fight each other for an elimination. It's kind of tough to see that, because at least with the match that we had, the French Derby that we had yesterday, you know, you had Vega and IES playing different games to try and qualify. They were playing against each other, but not directly. As I say that, Levo gets the opening pick. He's lurking somewhere with that Nook, able to find the opening pick with Zarok, takes him down, that's the castle down for the count. And yet again, opening kill goes in the favor of WhiteTigerZ, this time even a lot earlier. But they have to be sure that they don't mess up in the mid-round like they did last time. Oh, here comes a late trade. Rastan takes down P13. P13 very critical in the first round, won't have any impact this time, and that's 2 nades off the board as the sledge goes down as well.
Yeah, good utility taken out with the player along, managing to kind of equal up, and no man advantage included. The drones are going to be coming out. Yesterday, we saw a bit of a Yana sneak into sight all the way from main stairs, so maybe we're going to be seeing a bit of a repeat of that. As you know, with the time is ticking, they start, you know, they need to get closer to the execute as it goes down. You don't want to do the execute in the last 10 seconds because that's an overall bad idea. Although I'm still happy that Zami and, of course, the players with the C4s are still alive, because that means defense still has some pretty decent utility to work with. Even the bandit, he's still on the wall pretty strong right now, and the thermite can't really do much as all 3 of his teammates are pretty much downstairs. They're gonna have to work with, you know, verticaling this bandit out of his position, which can prove to be difficult, although not as much as, you know, he doesn't really have a Jaeger to work with right now. But yeah, right now they're focusing on this bandit. He's gonna put the, oh yeah, the battery's gonna be going down, and this, I don't think there's gonna be any breach.
They used all of their nades there, and they were not able to clear out any of the bandit wires or the bandit, and so now the wall's going to stay closed. They're going to try and go up that main staircase. Bit of a miss, the zombie barrier. I don't think that was supposed to go there. Rastan, he's able to pick up another player. Does he know that Critical was right behind that, though? Another swing comes through. Critical gives his position away at a crucial time, and there we go, a double swing from Katsola. And Rastan able to take down that other player on main stairs. Now Breach comes through, actually working around that EMP off of the Dokkaebi. able to get that wall open, but is it too little too late, as it's a 2v4, only 30 seconds left on the board, and WhiteTigerZ, they're gonna have to find a lot of players and some side control if they want to turn this around.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit too late. You can't really switch, so you've given up your position to where at least one is being on breach. It gets spotted from below. The ping comes out, then gets taken out by Uzi with a double kill onto Rastin as well. He gets taken out by Apex, though, as Cat Solar will be there to finish the job. It was very close. I mean, that thermite he managed. Actually, I believe it was the Dokkaebi, not the thermite, with the SMG-11. I'm not quite sure. Please do correct me if I'm wrong. But getting one from below, it's going to be the Frost. And then the second one, a very badly attempted flank, I believe, as, of course, the pistol comes out just to finish it off from below. And, of course, I mean, it was a 2v1, but still close. I mean, they managed to make it from a 4v2 to a 2v2 almost instantly. So, also a bit of unfortunate teamwork, or I guess you could say positioning on the side of main stairs. You know, Yana kind of pushing up, just revealing her position, then getting... The aggression from side of BTD right there was almost perfect. Both of them peeking her at once, and not even giving any type of space for the refrags was most definitely a well-played attempt. And now, instead of, you know, to be honest, I wasn't necessarily expecting Bar, even though as people do claim it to be better than CC, which I think I would agree. But since Ace and Maverick are both out of the match, we're going to be seeing the K. And with that, let's see if we can have some decent K tricking.
Right, at the moment it looks like P13 is going to switch over to that Thatcher. That's what I talked about in the ban phase. So these two operators are heavy counters to one another. You bring the Kite. If you have the Kite, then you need to bring a Thatcher. And if one is banned, then usually in the ban phase you want to take out the other, because Kite without Thatcher is too strong. And vice versa. If you have Thatcher on the board and not even a Kite, it's too easy to deal with bandits and with mute jammers. And so you need to have that balance between those two. Those two depend on one another. And P13, he's choosing to give up his grenades to instead bring 3 of those EMPs. And there we go, Uzi, he's going to get in place. And a trick is going to try and be brought through, but there's no way that you can trick if there's 2 EMPs being thrown. And P13 does that perfectly. Uzi puts it down on the wall, gets that CC wall open very early on. And so WhiteTigerZ, they have a little bit of control, and you can see them rotate immediately. They just get that wall open, immediately Uzi is going around. There's already the wall on the side of construction open as well. The hatch is open inside of Logi. Krügi and P13, they're already in as well. They're going to try and clear out the master side of the map here. The question is, do they know that Apex is lurking down below? How and when is he going to go for that flank?
Yeah, I mean, possibly not. They do figure him out. Heavy damage is brought upon him. As, I mean, they're taking out this very quickly. And also there goes Apex level with a nice shot. Figures him out. And that's going to be a quick man advantage for the side of attack. They're taking this quickly. I mean, they had the hard breach in a matter of seconds. They got one on the side of construction as well. And just kept on kind of snowballing, and now pressure is everywhere. They can push from construction, you know, main breach below, anywhere they really want to, as long as defenders aren't necessarily primarily holding them, like Garage, like, you know, Cash and Red, as Den is going to be getting taken out. 13 with a nice shot, and now it's just a matter of time in gunfights, as, I mean, this is getting really close. I mean, it's already a 3v5, 1 minute 15, they have the time to go it out, and of course, Zarok right now pretty much stuck. I mean, if he peeks the person on main breach, there it is, he gets taken out, and wow, is this turning really badly for BTD.
Yeah, it's a 1v5, and the last player is flashed. It's going to be a flawless round for WhiteTigerZ, as I believe they pick up their very first round on this attack here. So CC side being brought out, you said you were a little surprised by it, even though we had 2 hard breacher bans. And it's absolutely justified. As long as Thatcher is open, even with 2 hard breacher bans, it's so difficult to keep those walls closed. And WhiteTigerZ, they moved at an incredible pace. They were really quick. And I don't even think Apex expected it. He was caught down below much earlier than he wanted to be. And he didn't have the chance to go for a vital mid-round flank or even a late-round flank. And so WhiteTigerZ, they clamp down on any pressure that might have existed from BTD. They tear them apart, put them between a rock and a hard place, and just systematically go through one player at a time. And that's very important. We've seen that yesterday in a game for IAS. They struggled with just finding focus. They struggled with finding which one is the person that we need to go for. You get info on like 4 people on the defense, but the question is, do you want to take out the roamer or do you want to hit sight right now? And for that, you need to be on one wavelength as a team. You need to communicate, you need to talk through what you want to do, and you need to work and pull on one string. Because if you have information on 4 people and then 4 people go for 4 different players, then you're going to end up with a lot of 1v1s. If you have good mechanical skill, you might win that. But the thing is, the defenders can also play together. And then you start running into problems because you try to go for one and you get shot out.
This may be a bit of a weird topic to bring out, but I feel like Bandit in this situation of current CC with a Thatcher would be a bit more rewarding, I would say. Cade works off of, he has a very large time until the Cade actually initiates, and with Bandit, you can place it on the wall, and there may be a chance you instantly get the Thermite itself. So I feel like playing Bandit in this situation is high risk, high reward, because taking out a Bandit is way easier. You go from below. There's the drone hole, there's nades, there's many other ways, but... yeah, I mean,
that player was spotted. They know that Den is in that corner. I think they yellow pinged him. They know that he's there. Yeah, no, he gets caught. Okay. He's trying to hide with that cav. It doesn't work out for him, as Apex is able to find a trade onto P13 elsewhere. Now drops himself down main staircase. He's going to go back. He's going to count his lucky stars that he found a trade for his 4-4 teammate that was just sitting in a corner trying to lurk, but gets caught out instead. Apex back to site. Everyone else back to site as well. Den is not happy about this. And Cat, oh, this is interesting. I've seen this a few times. This is not the first time I've seen this. Jaeger playing the shotgun, and that's mainly to hold secret. You're trying to hold those blue stairs, and you can see that he has ADSs there as well, but I think Apex is taking that position. I'm not sure what they're doing with their positioning right now, but they do have time to figure out how they want to play this, as WhiteTigerZ are just getting control up above. They're, doing the 1-2-3 that you need to get control up above if you want to go for a side execute. You want to get that moto hatch open, you want to try and get maybe kitchen open, you want to play vertical on that long haul so that you get control. And they have a lot of time to play with because the roamers fell off very, very early. Now 1 minute and 15 and criticals inside of oil pit. And so this might be a multi-pronged attack. So WhiteTigerZ not looking to go one-dimensionally.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, with a zombie, a kitchen hatch is going to be very difficult to push unless they actually manage to flush out those barriers. But Jaeger's getting... Actually, it's going to be Apex, not the Jaeger, getting very comfortable. Peeks, but it's going to be level with a nice shot. The pistol comes out, and another kill coming from criticals into Zarak. Reston trading it out for Krugi, as holy, it's a 2v2 yet again. The shield is going to be very deadly, but the nades come out. Will any ADS help? Yes, they do.
Oh, no.
One more nade is in stock, though. This could be very deadly. It comes out, the Jaeger manages to evade, and the Warden is going to have to help around. Level gets one, and he gets a second onto Cat Solar and Rast, and this is going to be a nice finish. And of course, it's going to be WhiteTigerZ with their second round, managing to even up the score.
All right, WhiteTigerZ have found their form. He's able to survive that nade. He's not able to survive the bullets from Levo, as it was just... He's hitting those shots. That was a very beautiful two-piece there at the end of the round, and WhiteTigerZ, they bring it right back in. And so after a slow start, just working their way through diligently, making the right decisions, and not getting caught up by Den. I mean, I was not ready for that opening round ace, and if I wasn't ready, how were WhiteTigerZ supposed to be?
Fair enough. I am quite interested in that pistol kill from the side of the Jaeger. He still had the shotgun, but he did not care. He's gonna pull out the pistol and use everything that he's got just to get himself.
I think he was holding a moto hatch drop. He was probably more worried about the moto, and then somebody came down main, and he just happened to have the pistol in hand. It's incredible that he's able to still win that. They clearly didn't expect him to be proning in that spot. But that is the downside that you have when you try and play such an extraordinary strat when you're trying to hold with a Jaeger shotgun. You don't really have a long-range weapon. All you can play around is that pistol. He manages to make it work for at least one, and I mean, gotta commend the effort, really trying some interesting things and trying to bring something to the table that WhiteTigerZ won't expect, but nothing that WhiteTigerZ haven't been able to deal with. I think so far, WhiteTigerZ, they've been mostly losing to themselves.
Yeah, the first two rounds were kind of just mere mistakes and dents that actually BTD managed to take kind of advantage out of. So, WhiteTigerZ have been shutting that out and making about a lot more pressure onto the side of BTD than before. So, with that, I feel like they could be going to a 4-2 score yet again, BTD, if they do adapt and all that type of stuff. We could just go in for Infinity and saying how if they adapt and they adapt and that. But we're going to have to see. I mean, we're in gym right now. We've seen this once, and it was a very actually, it was a very close call for WhiteTigerZ and BTD, and ending up in a 2v2 as 13 is going to be making it a 4v5, taking out Den, the Frost player. But there's still the frost mats. Those are still in the game, so you might want to still check your corners and windows.
Yeah, P13 continuing, just getting warmed back up into this game after round 1, probably tearing a little at the soul. In the meantime, Den, he goes down again. He's the opening pick this round, and he got an ace in round 1, but he hasn't been able to find anything since. He's just been getting taken out by WhiteTigerZ, and that goes to show that WhiteTigerZ, they don't want to let this happen again. Apex going for a jiggle peek as well, critical walking into kitchen hall. Good man advantage for WhiteTigerZ. They're up 5-3, and they still have more than a minute left to play with. So they can figure out what they want to go for. They can maybe drone, see where some of these players are. They can really box them in, and you can see it. Rastan, Katsola, they're playing very close together. They don't have a lot of space to work around. Katsola now trying to go for a rat spot close to the breach. Not anyone near that at the moment, so he's just gonna be able to move around on it. In the meantime, WhiteTigerZ, they're still probing, still figuring out what to do.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, there's a push into Logi. Oh, what a shot onto the hatch. The pistol comes out yet again. And it actually is going to be gunfight between the Yana. It's going to be critical taking out Rastan, as it's going to be a 1v3 with Uzi making that one. Kaden Bathroom kind of just fighting for survival. Castle against Uzi. And now it's going to be a very tough situation. The revolve will come down. But, you know, Criticals will not be taking it so lightly, as he will be finishing the job. And how close that Logi shot from the Bandit was onto the Yana, just jumping in from that rotation, was absolutely insane. We could just see the gun wiggle from way the corner as the Bandit tried to shoot it away. And of course, the drop from the sledge ended up being a bit unfortunate, but in the end, WhiteTigerZ managed to get themselves another round. And, you know, in this situation, BTD being on defense, which I feel like defense is most definitely a bit more comfortable on this map to play, at least from my side. I would want to have it at least 3-3. Having it a 4-2 and then WhiteTigerZ being the one on defense would be kind of difficult to deal with, especially if WhiteTigerZ would feel a bit closer to defense than attack. So, you know, I will want to put that into account. But I do want to bring up the good old Brava. What's your opinion on Brava, Reprints?
Oh, when Brava was announced, I was at first very confused on how that operator was going to fit into the picture. I didn't know if it was going to be useless or if it was going to be extremely powerful, but as it turns out, it's something in between, as it usually is. And so Brava is useful in ways that I didn't even imagine initially. I mean, specifically the default cams. That's something that many people seem to overlook. Brava hacking default cams can really give a lot of information across the map in terms of, you know, flank watch to the attacking half. And then, other than that, of course, you can do all the same things that a Twitch can, just slightly differently. And you don't have the unlimited range that the Twitch has, but other than that, they're fairly similar. But it also has some elements of Flores. And so it's just another operator that adds to the versatility of just the droning abilities that you have for the attacking for the attacking side within these meta changes. And this frees up normal drones to be used for completely different purposes. As there's a Monty push going into dirt, Rastan having to contend with 2 people, he gets tagged up by that hipfire. But the Ash is actually downed, and he's going to be able to finish that one off. Another smoke canister is going to box Monty in, and so now he has about 1 square inch of play space. He's going to try and challenge that Monty. No, Rastan, he goes too aggressive. He gets taken down by critical instead. And so we're back on a 4v4, but now with dirt control, and kitchen hatch is also already open. We've already played vertical on kitchen. WhiteTigerZ, they're putting on incredible pace to try and go for a kitchen execute very, very soon here. A little bit of pressure from blue, and they could make this work. But Uzi gets taken down to very low HP, just tagged up. 1 impact will do the job now. And Zarok still has 2 of those in pocket, so he's going to have to be very, very careful as he's alone in dirt right now.
Yeah, I mean, the smoke, actually not the smoke, Den is back at it again upstairs, so right now we could potentially be seeing a 4K from his side. We got the ace last time, but pushing right now, kitchen hatch is going to be very difficult. I mean, yes, the zombie barriers can get taken out. Yeah, the impact didn't come out, but 13 did come along with a kill onto Castle, as Zarok is going to be trading it out for critical, and it's going to be a 3v3 situation. Although Uzi and 13 are not looking very good on HP, especially as a Monty player, you wouldn't necessarily want that, although there aren't any smokes left over, as Rastan, like you mentioned, he got a bit too aggressive on the side of the Monty just to try and get that double kill. I mean, it would be worth it, but the double kill is going to be brought on to 13, you know, kind of evening out the odds for that HP they've lost. With 40 seconds on the line, it seems like it's going to be very predictable where they're going to push. It gets aggressive. Hibana gets taken. Actually, Hibana is going to be the one taking out Apex, as of course 13 gets down. Monty with very low HP, and this is just getting very close.
Yeah, they're gonna have to try and protect that pickup as the Hibana goes down. He can see the Buck who's still injured, and there we go. Now you're suddenly in a 1v1. There's 15 seconds left on the board. Both of them are on 1 HP, but if the Monty gets this plant down, there's still a C4 in the pocket of Denster. No, he's gonna miss the C4. He's gonna keep it there, but he knows that the Monty must be low. He has to know. His teammates have done so much damage to him. And so now it's a post plant. It's an awkward post plant. As the Monty is just gonna move into a doorway, he's gonna try and stop this. Den, you have a C4. You can go and pick it up. You have enough time at the moment, but as the timer ticks lower, this Monty's just gonna continue backing up. And Dennis, he's not. You gotta do something against this Monty. If you just keep doing this, he's gonna run you out of time. There's only 10 seconds now for him to get onto that defuse, and the timer keeps ticking lower and lower. And he's not gonna be able to find that kill. Now he doesn't even have time to get back to the diffuser in time, and it's a round win for Uzi on 1 HP. Den finally takes him down, but there's no time to defuse. And there was a C4 in play. It was missed. A crucial mistake on that C4, and he doesn't go for the pickup either. He had a lot of post-plan time left to play around that, but instead it's WhiteTigerZ that get that round by the skin of their teeth. And so it's a 4-2 split for WhiteTigerZ.
Well, I mean, I can kind of feel like it was a bit of miscommunication or just bad teamwork right there, as not mentioning the Monty's low. I mean, the Zami absolutely riddled him with bullets. There was the smokes. There was so much actually coming out, which, okay, I can kind of understand you don't necessarily know how much HP he has, but that C4, it's the only option. You can't really fight a Monty that easily. You can't just expect to punch him infinitely. As you know, the timer is ticking and you are post-planned, so picking up that C4 would have been probably the most optimal situation. Even if you would have missed it, it's like 2 HP you need to deal to him. So, you know, it's not really much you have to go off of. So just kind of having it close to him, blowing up close to him already should be enough to do the job as we go back into CC. And, well, this is going to be very difficult for WhiteTigerZ. I'm going to just assume, I'm just going to predict that this is going to be a very aggressive playstyle they're going to be having. We don't have any type of breach protection or just breach denial. We don't have even a mute nor a bandit, not even a Cade for all things. They don't even need any type of EMP impact or a Thatcher. They can go for all types of breaches. So I'm just going to say it out of just pure hopefulness that this is going to be the type of game it will be. WhiteTigerZ is going to play extremely aggressive on those breaches and mostly everything.
Yeah, something that I've had in a private conversation after a stream with our beautiful analyst Noctish, who was on the analyst desk with me yesterday, was that his opinion was that a lot of people seem to be playing the current meta of the CCTV bomb site wrong. You don't really want to deny that breach, because unless you're taking out Thatcher and the kite is open, which, you know, I've pointed this out, it's very rare, you're not going to keep that breach close. And so you should play around the Azami, because Azami is very, very powerful, but don't play it for Garage. Don't play it for Garage control. Try and deny the breach using those Kiba barriers. You can lock up the breach, you can close that up, and you can play around that because it gives you some control. Even just a little bit of control of CC is going to allow you to go for a swing or two that isn't expected from the attackers, and that can punish them harshly. You can see Kluge, he's set up on top red, and so if there's any pressure coming out from the breach, he can block it up. He can play around that, and I think Noctish would be happy to see this. Let's see how they play it, if they can get it correctly.
If maybe we're going to be seeing one of those rare times, but it's going to be level playing it very aggressive. Is going to be getting pinched any second, though. He does get notice of the Zofia starting to slowly push in on him, but then comes from the left, or actually the right on the bathroom, and level will be getting taken out. That's the Valkyrie and one of the roamers, as of course. Jaeger can still play aggressive and everything can happen, but right now using that Azami, like you mentioned, will be quite essential because her ability is probably one of the strongest ones in the entire game. That's why she's, but if it's not Solus, it's probably going to be she's going to be the one getting taken out. The breaches are coming out though, as this is kind of where the, you know, kind of split push comes in. And yeah, like you just said, Apex coming out from low P13 will be getting taken out. It is the Warden though. The Zami's still in the game. I think we can keep that in mind just for a bit.
Right, 45 seconds on the board, big man advantage for BTD. Again, the attackers just able to find those opening picks very, very consistently. But Krügi, he gets a refrag on the Zero. And now Critical, he's between a rock and a hard place. Den able to find another, Apex able to find another, and suddenly we're looking at a 4v1. Uzi's the only one. He jumps out the window to try and go for a pick onto a player inside of Khan, but he's not going to be able to find anyone. He gets caught jumping back in by Katsola. And a beautiful round from BTD, and Siege is a game of two halves. We might have an attacker-sided clubhouse on our hands.
Oh, just maybe. It seemed like WhiteTigerZ themselves were performing quite better on attack themselves. So this could be a possible, like you said, attacker-sided clubhouse. Now, with that in mind, I mean, we're going to be going on to Church and Arsenal, which most of the time was a completely different story. I mean, BTD was doing quite well on them. Besides the last round with the Monty that let's just keep out of the hand for now, as we're going to be going back to the Fenrir, which, yet again, I still want to see him as much as possible, as long as he's this early operator that can still have, his potential brought out. Potential.
Yeah, but sound it out. Potential.
No.
Mute yourself, do it for 5 minutes like you did with Feuerfrei.
I'll be back in 5 minutes, guys. Potential.
Alright. In the meantime, I think I'll run through what WhiteTigerZ might be doing here on their defensive half. It's you can see a lot of very aggressive operators. I think that WhiteTigerZ are playing some confidence picks, at least when it comes to guns. They're bringing decent utility, but I think they're mostly focused on finding the right guns for the job, because so far they've been on the back foot on their first defensive round. See how it pans out for the second. Is Levo, he's going for a run out, aggressive run out actually on the player on the rappel up, but no, Apex, he's able to rappel up in time and he's able to find a counter. He takes about half damage, but he's able to shut down Levo. He was trying to go for that. And so somehow that doesn't pan out for him. Unfortunate timing. He does get taken down. And so yet again, early advantage for the attackers.
Yeah, I mean, this is not looking good for WhiteTigerZ, even with the score they managed to pull themselves into with a 4-2 before the role swap. So that's going to be a very bad start off onto their defensive side, especially with this site, which probably would be the best one to go with. And eventually, of all characters being taken out this early is not going to be a good pick. And of course, the second player, which I do believe would be the Jaeger right now, gets pinched, and there it is. Uzi going to get taken out by Rastin. As of course, now again, oh my god, Apex with another onto 13, a 5v2, and it's barely a minute that has gone by, and Azami and Fenrir are pretty much just locked out into side. What can they do? They can just pretty much wait for the execution to come, and when it does, I would be scared. Oh, what? A nice flank!
No!
But,
no, you can't lose that, Krügi. You can't lose that! It's a 1v5 for Critical now. He's able to find one. He's not going to be able to find the second. And BTD, yet again, they shot their opponents out of the round. Such an aggressive roam counter. They're able to find the picks where they need them. And I said WTZ might be playing for confidence around their guns, but that's not working at the moment. They're not connecting the shots that they need to. I can't believe the Hibana dropped off that kitchen table, was able to go for a prone and found that on the reverse. How do you turn that around? You are dead to rights, and somehow Krügi lets you slip away with that.
Oh, wow. There's a first time for everything, and that one, crouching below bullets, thinking you're in the Matrix, that was one of those moments, most definitely. But yeah, we're going to be, yet again, going back downstairs. WhiteTigerZ seems to be pretty confident. Yet again, you do want to win the possibly best site on the map, so until you do that, you kind of have to rinse and repeat until you find out what necessarily went wrong. And let me tell you, it's these early picks that they keep on getting. Even if it is an aggressive run out, I don't think it's necessarily needed on a map that can quite decently waste time with the roamers and also has a very nice variation of just roaming around, being a bit more free, especially with an easy escape from garage. You can go into secret, you can go down to dirt or tunnel or whatever people may refer to it as, but pretty much for roamers it isn't too bad of a map. But yeah, I mean, it seems like BTD just aren't giving any space to WhiteTigerZ. They're just shutting them down without any thought in mind, as of course with that it's gonna be looking pretty good. BTD kind of managed to make a bit of a comeback 2 rounds in a row. I think it was each team actually won 2 rounds. It was 2-2, 2-2, and now it's now we gotta see who's gonna be winning the next 2 rounds.
All right, so is WhiteTigerZ going to break that Or are they going to continue the trend and put 2 rounds on the board, get themselves on match point? Or are BTD going to break it and win another one, making it 3 in a row? That's going to be the question for right now. And I mean, WhiteTigerZ, they've lost 2 rounds now on the defense, and so you got to consider, are they changing their approach? I think they are, because you can see everyone's down in the basement. So they've abandoned their roaming idea. They've abandoned their ideas of going for big upstairs roams, for big runouts, because BTD have been diligent on the roam clear. They're not letting anyone escape. And like you said, Clubhouse is a good map to roam. There's so many escapes, but BTD are cutting off all of them. And so you're not going to go back downstairs. There's no way that you're getting back to site. And so WhiteTigerZ, they abandoned the roam idea. They instead bunker down on basement. I think one of the best sites for going for a bunker, because you have Church, which cannot be played vertically whatsoever. And then you have Armory, which can only be played vertically on the kitchen side. The other half is, toward dummy, is also completely solid flooring everywhere. So you have the opportunity to bunker down.
Yeah, most definitely. Although the Valkyrie does seem, aka Levo, does seem to be getting a bit more into that roamy style right now, just searching for any kind of flank drones that we have here. But it seems like Katzel is going to be expecting it somehow, which is an interesting turn of events. Although I am concerned that there is going to be no pick of the Azami on the side of the defense, which could have been very useful, I think, especially on the downstairs, but we're going to see how it actually managed to go out. Level right now, not knowing there's an IQ, aka Katzel, watching him. This is going to be catastrophic.
He passes.
But no, this is going to be bad.
And he gets cut down.
Yeah,
this is what I pointed out. They abandoned the roaming idea, but they went for a lurk, and it still doesn't work out. BTD are always one step ahead somehow. You have only one guy above. He's going very, very slowly. He's making sure he doesn't make too much sound. But Cat was standing there for like a solid minute, maybe a minute and a half. And so BTD are not allowing any roams. They're not allowing any flanks. They're diligently clearing everything. And now the timer ticks low, 20 seconds. You've got 10 low, but 3-man advantage as Uzi gets one back now. It's a 4v2. Critical. He's between 2 people. He's going to pull out his bailiff. He's going to find one. Can he find a second? Yes, he can kill the buck as well. God. He's killed 2 people. Uzi has killed another, but now he's in a 1v1 now. He goes down. Zarok will have to go for a plant. Uzi, he's going to be able to finish this one off. And WTZ, they win the round. They continue the trend of the 2 rounds per team, and then we switch. And WTC, they pull back ahead, 5-4.
Oh my, never underestimate the bailiff and its chunky power. That little compact shotgun coming in use, as of course it's going to be taking out 2 at once, doing the job and kind of bringing WhiteTigerZ back into their search. Maybe even a bit of a mental boost, you could say, as of course. Oh my goodness, that was very unexpected. It was kind of like a Scooby-Doo episode. One was going through, rotating with someone behind them, one going through the door, and boom, the bailiff comes out. So yeah, a bit of an interesting turn of events right there. But WhiteTigerZ will be bringing it back for at least 1 round, and let's hope they can continue doing so, because I don't think the bailiff is going to be saving them every single round. Now, with that in mind, we're going to be back with the bandit striking, I'm assuming, and the castle should... I feel like the castle should most definitely put or focus one of his barriers onto the gym door itself, because, the window can be accessible a lot easier, and that doesn't need much attention. You don't need to throw nades at it. You can just sledge it or just punch it for all we care. As in with the door on gym, nades can come from below it, but yet again, it's a lot harder to access. Now, we're not going to be having any Azami again, which I'm still a bit worried about it, because Azami's such a great pick. You can't really go wrong with Operator, with just how strong she is in general, as protection-wise and, gadget utility wastage on the enemy team. So, I mean, with that in hand, it's going to be a bit more tough, I would say, but if they have a plan and a strategy in hand, might as well use it.
Right, again, a much slower round, not that early aggression from WhiteTigerZ that we saw in their opening defensive rounds. They've been punished heavily, and I think you can see what's at stake just by judging how much WhiteTigerZ have changed their playstyle over these rounds on the defense. Simply because you gotta consider that whoever wins this game, it doesn't matter how, they're both on equal points. Whoever wins this game is gonna go through. And so it's an elimination match, and it's also a qualification match. Whoever wins this gets to go to playoffs alongside TT9 in this group. and whoever loses it gets to go home. They get to not continue playing in Titan Series, and that would suck because Titan Series, you want to be getting as many games as possible, especially against high-caliber teams such as TT9. Now, you've had them in your group, but how about getting Heroic? Why not try and get Heroic in the quarterfinals?
Yeah, most definitely, but it's going to be Uzi with a very nasty kill onto Cat Solar, getting not a necessarily early frag, but it will be the first one to come out, and it's going to be the Sledge, so a bit of utility, a bit of the hammer gone, but what does it matter, you know? The main breach did manage to get open, which means no more as viable rotation from the side of WhiteTigerZ as possible. Is going to be getting cut off from Zarok, ready to possibly go in for a late plant. Just kind of standing out here, you know, along with Iana. Will be getting... There will be aggression most definitely on that main breach, but it's going to get shut down soonly, I would assume. So as we're heading down to the last minute, actually, and this is where it's going to get a bit more, you know, aggressive. The attackers are going to need to start pushing in. We already see Krugi playing on the side of construction and playing it very safe. And the Yana and Thermite kind of just wanting to go in. Uzi getting one, actually getting two. Zarok along, then kind of trading him out, along with Critical, a double kill for himself. The Kamatao gets taken out in sight, and that was a 1v3 for WhiteTigerZ, which, oh wow, this is really hard for Rassen, as it's going to be 25 on the clock. He's going to have to push, the Fenrir catches him lacking, and the MP7 in hand will be taking him out. Now, this is getting a bit hard for BTD, as now it's match point.
Yep, again, I've just mentioned what's on the line. Nerves must definitely be a factor between these two teams. You can see it, BTD choosing to take a timeout. All right. It's very good to see that there's timeouts being taken here. I hate it when a timeout goes to waste at a time where you feel like, why not use it? You have one. Just make use of it. Why wouldn't you use it?
It's free. It doesn't cost you anything, but just...
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah.
It costs you nothing. And so why not use it? The question here is it too late? I would argue not, because so far between these two teams, we've had fights going back and forward.
Yeah.
And I think that's been down to a team does something, it works. The enemy team adapts, figures out what they were doing, punish that, and so they have to change what they're doing. And so they just have to continue changing playstyles. We've seen how these two teams have evolved in their playstyle just across their halves here. It wasn't an evolving across different play days. It was evolving within rounds and from round to round. And so WhiteTigerZ, they get punished heavily on roams, on very heavy and wide roams. And so they decide, well, let's just not do that.
Yeah, I mean, it works out in the end. I mean, we did get, of course, one of the rounds being the bail of the second one right there. Right, this round we just saw was kind of, you know, BTD has been seemingly shutting them down a lot more frequently than they have to them, and it seems like WhiteTigerZ have been taking that from them. It seems like they've been kind of choking them out, not allowing them to, you know, kind of cooperate fully with just a full team right there. So, I mean, putting that into action right now, just that's how the 3 kills were instantly dropped. I believe it was Uzi who got them. He did get taken out quite quickly, but a triple kill against one player getting taken out is still quite effective, and most definitely will be kind of almost guaranteeing you that victory. So, I mean, with that in hand right now, it is match point BTD. They're probably very stressed, I would say, not necessarily, you know, shaking in their boots, but they still have a lot on the line, like you mentioned. And not only that, but it's very close. One big mistake, or one small mistake even, just from them losing it all.
Yeah, BTD, they're facing elimination. League elimination. If they lose this next round, they're out. If they make any more mistakes for the next 2 rounds, they're pretty much out. They have to get 2 good attacks through. They need to tie up the scoreline. They need to make sure that they follow through on what we've seen in previous rounds on their attack that made it look like Clubhouse might be an attacker-sided map, at least in this matchup. But WhiteTigerZ, they've managed to pull back ahead. They've found a recipe that works, and the question is, BTD, are they able to find a counter for it? And they make any mistakes, and even if they hesitate, inaction is also a mistake. You can't be doing nothing because you're on the attack. You have to do something. At least on defense, you can just run a strat and then just wait for the enemy to come to you, but on attack, you're the one that has to do all the work. And so the added pressure to that could be the downfall of BTD. They have to keep their nerves. They have to make sure they don't have any slip-ups, like you said, any small ones. If they're punished correctly by WhiteTigerZ, as Critical is able to get the C4 kill onto Den, opening pick again for WhiteTigerZ. They've been able to get defensive-sided opening picks. The nade doesn't quite connect onto the shield. Now Zarok is able to take down Krugi. So we're traded even up, back on 4-4. Another nade comes in. That's most likely going to take down the shield. Now Zarok is able to find another. I think that was down below. Not sure about that. But now mana advantage back into the favor of BTD. They have a way of holding on here. The main breach is open onto stock. And so, a minute and 15. Uzi's in an off position inside of kitchen door. And BTD are just slowing down to see what they can work with here in this round.
Yeah, I mean...
No, Uzi, he goes for the sprint out kitchen and he's able to find the thermite. He was going on a drone. Uzi, he found a triple kill last round. He's able to find a crucial pick onto the hard breacher this round as well. And P13 is able to find another onto Apex, and suddenly this is all starting to fall apart. Cat gets taken down as well. P13 he's able to find two, and so Rastan, he's last one alive. He's in a 1v3. He has 40 seconds left to play with, but he doesn't catch the player that's peeking him from his left. And so Uzi, yet again, he's able to carry his team to victory. Just everyone on his shoulders. And WhiteTigerZ, they go through to the playoffs.
Oh, I'm so sorry, the caster curse. We mentioned those small mistakes in that grenade on the Warden shield. It was absolutely game-changing. If you could have gotten, the Warden out of the match, along with the shield, it would have been such an easier job. Although, I do believe it was Zarok managing to get two very nice picks of his own, but in the end, still, they got shut down in the end. They couldn't do much about it, and that's going to be pretty much WhiteTigerZ winning this decisive match. And not only that, but Barneys Trusted Dinosaurs will be getting eliminated, sadly, as of course the same rules and the same elimination round sticks to the second match, which we'll be seeing in just a bit. But yeah, besides that, Reprints, do you have anything to say yourself?
All I want to add is WhiteTigerZ were the better team on the day. They were definitely the better team in this matchup. You could see it with the opening half, and you could see it with some of the mistakes that happened for BTD that cost them rounds, because you can make mistakes as long as they go unpunished, but WhiteTigerZ were punishing every mistake. And sure, Den tried to hold against that, especially with that opening round ace. Definitely have to commend that. Commiserations to BTD. They played really well. They weren't in the group with TT9. They probably would have both gone through to playoffs, because both of these teams are very capable, and you can see it reflected in the 7-4 scoreline. But as I say that, I think we'll be throwing it back to the host and the analyst, and we'll go back to the desk. See you later.
Thank you very much, Bob and Reprints, for that very, very entertaining cast. Don't go anywhere, because we'll be seeing you guys in just a little while. Well, in case you missed it then, WhiteTigerZ win 7-4. Barney Trusted Dinosaurs sent home, sent away, not to qualify this Titan Series in Titan Series Season 4. Well, I am your host, Velocity. Joining me on the desk once more is Pooble. How are we feeling about that game?
Well, before I get on that game, I hope I don't sound like I am in a microwave anymore. I hope all audio issues are fixed. But that was a very interesting game. It started off very aggressive to begin with. And then we kind of saw BTD sort of roll it back a bit, become more disciplined. They started winning some rounds. And then WhiteTigerZ, well, they just did the exact same thing. They then sort of reined in the aggression, became a lot more disciplined. And they ended up just winning on those late round gunfights. It was a really good job from both teams. The scoreline really doesn't show as close a match as it really was. And it was just a really nice match to watch. I love a bit of Clubhouse.
We do, yeah, indeed, we do love a bit of Clubhouse, and it was such a close match. It just came down to the fine details of the individual player, of the team play, of just even the map in general. It was so close. Yes, the scoreline doesn't represent that, but if you're really watching it properly, with really looking for small mistakes, there weren't any real big mistakes. There weren't any small mistakes really either. It just really came down to who was the better team in the end.
Yep, I couldn't really say it better. It was just really these minute things that WhiteTigerZ were doing better, these small margins, like the nade in that final round, just wasn't quite up to scratch for BTD, and it kind of has a bit of a knock-on effect. These small mistakes, otherwise, apart from that, really good gameplay, but just small things costing them rounds.
And it was just those small things, Pooble, that just snowballed completely, and it just didn't, they came up short really at the end just because of those small mistakes. But nonetheless, I believe you have some clips you'd like to go through. Should we head over to them?
Well, We have, I believe, this is that round one ace. Really good play from Dan there. It was just a great way to sort of start off the match, setting a tempo, setting a pace, and I think that's kind of what contributed to that almost over aggression from BTD. You know, starting off with a round one ace is really good for your morale, but it kind of sort of came back to bite them, especially going into those sort of later defensive rounds. So it was a nice play from Dan, brilliant play from Dan, but it kind of almost was a detriment to the team in general, if you get what I'm saying. Just it kind of lulled them into a false sense of security when really they were almost underestimating their opponents.
Most definitely. One, and you know, it is just they can't, exactly as you said, it did lead them into a false sense of security, and then they started to rely on Dent a little bit too much, especially for my liking. I don't know about you, Poogle. It just it just looked like they were leaning on him, and when he didn't prevail, the team didn't prevail, and it wasn't the greatest thing. It's not, especially not what you want in a a match that is a decider whether you qualify or not.
Yeah, it's kind of the problem with putting all your eggs in one basket. Sometimes it yields great results, sometimes not so much. Commiserations to BTD, especially to Dan. Great play from him. Just as you said, it just didn't really work out for the rest of the team, really.
Exactly. Well, if we look at this second clip, then Pooble, this is this is the double bailiff kill.
And I think we're just having some production things. We're getting to the interview in a moment. So onto this sort of the double kill with the bailiff. It's not something you can predict. It's something you can build around upon. It's just one of those great heads-up plays. One of those things that just sort of separates the teams. And it was around. That was actually when I sort of brought in the point of teams becoming more disciplined, because we saw Katsola holding that angle for a whole minute upstairs. You know, it's a far cry from those aggressive peaks early on, and then they just can't convert it at the end because of that just heroic double bailiff kill. Something you barely ever see. Something you can't plan around. Things just happen. Just great heads-up play.
Yeah, I mean I saw it and I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it happened. I didn't believe it was real, because as you said, Pooble, you never see bailiff kills, especially double bailiff kills like that.
You just don't have the damage for it, but it makes it work.
Almost, you know, you just never see it, and it was such a an interesting thing to see nonetheless. And well, he's been allowed to do it, which is, I mean, maybe a mistake was made. I just don't know. I can't comprehend it.
It's just one of those things that happens. At the end of the day, shit happens. All right, there's no other way to really describe it. The double bailiff kill, commiserations, move on to the next round, and BTD, I guess, just couldn't really get out of that slump from there on out, and WhiteTigerZ began to slowly run away with it.
Most definitely. Well, I do believe we have an interview, Pooble. So thank you very much for going in depth and going through the clips with me. And don't go anywhere though as well, because we'll be seeing you again in just a little while. But we do have Criticals over on the desk for a quick interview. So Criticals, hello. Bear with us, Criticals. Sorry, we're having some production issues.
All right, well, waiting for this interview, everyone is going to have to join me for a little rant here. I've been seeing Jaegers playing on that blue stairs position with a shotgun, and I'm not a fan. It's great in that one position, sure is. You know, you have that tight angle, as Reprints was saying. It's great for holding secret, but they move away so quickly, and when you're not in that position, you suddenly become a lot less effective. Your sort of lethal range is tiny compared to the sort of expansive lines of sight you open up in that basement. And so far, no player has really been able to convince me otherwise. So some teams take that as a challenge, get a great clip with that position. But until then, I'm not convinced. I'm a doubter, I have to say.
Oh, I have to agree with you. It wasn't my cup of tea, Pooble. But we have just confirmation from the production team, Pooble, for the second time around. Second time's a charm, as they're saying, is it not? That the interview is ready, so Pooble will be seeing you on the desk in a bit. Thank you very much for joining me. And we do have Criticals on the desk with me now. Criticals, hello. How are we feeling after that win, that crucial win?
Hello, guys. Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, due to the fact that our analyst, Solomon, did a good job, we could play a good game here.
That is good. That's good. So, just want to go ask a couple of questions, if you do not mind.
All fine, all fine.
Going into this match against BTD, you knowing it was a decider match. You know, you lose this, you don't qualify. You win this, you qualify. What was the energy like going into the match? What was the mental like? Just overall, what was the atmosphere like?
Yeah, we were all hyped. I mean, Levo said, "Yeah, guys, we win this, guys." And Solomon said he's really scared that maybe his analytics wouldn't fit, or we will throw some rounds and stuff. And I mean, it happened, but in the end, we played it good, yeah, and we had confidence that we win it.
So, going back into the game, then we saw the dent ace in round one. I've got to ask, what happened?
Yeah, normally, like I said, we go for main take, and then there was misinformation about what we do now. So 2 guys went to blue, I think, and he like killed them from stock. That we didn't know his position, and then afterwards, I misaimed, and yeah, he just like got the solo frags, I would say. He played it really well. I mean, Dent is a good player. Same with Sarok and stuff. Like they're all good. So yeah, can happen, but shouldn't happen.
Yeah, it certainly should not happen. Well then, we touched on it during the when we were going through the clips. What was going through your head when that double bailiff kill came out? When it happened, it went to that 1 versus 1. Just what was going through your mind at the time?
Yeah, so what happened was I think I like loaded my whole mag in the wall and not on the enemy with my main weapon, and then I only had my secondary, and I don't know how I did it, but I managed to outmove 2 enemies and kill them with the bar leaf, yeah. And I mean, everyone started screaming because they never seen like that shouldn't happen, and it was I don't know if it's lucky, but yeah, I think the enemy team was. Not not as happy as much as we were when this happened because it was a safe win for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think any team wouldn't be happy if a double bailiff kill happened to them. I mean, you don't see bailiff kills
Yeah.
anyway, let alone a double while running as well. I'll tell you that you really shocked me with that one. I saw the first one. I was like, okay, he's feeling the game, and then you hit the second, and you know what? Fair play to you. You deserve it. Anyway, then, so just my last question. Then, moving into your next game, then into the playoffs. What are you expecting? What are you hoping to achieve, or what are you hoping to improve on, or potentially do slightly worse? Or what are you expecting?
I mean, with the fact right now that the team is unstable, like Uzi is helping out right now. He's actually he left the team. I mean, he benched himself. We 4 stick together, P13, Levo, Krügi, and me, and we are looking for another like hard support player, I would say. We have to focus on finding one first, and then I would say we have good. We have a good run in front of us because our analyst did good job with the Clippers match they had before, I think, like from the team we played, and he will do the same with the other teams. So I hope if he finds a good player to fill out our roster, we can win the next matches.
Yeah, well, analyst work is you were mentioning, and your analyst did a very good job. And well, analyst work is such a prep work. Analyst work is such a key and a vital part to competitive siege. You said your analyst did such a good job, and it's some of the reasons you won your rounds. And that is such a good thing to hear especially from a team. Anyway, then, Criticals, thank you for taking your time to interview us and talking us through what how the game went and things like that. So have a good rest of your evening. Good luck in the rest of your matches.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Barney's trusted dinosaurs do not qualify and are sent home. They are out of this tournament so far. Well, our next match then is G-Who versus Make Your Destiny. We are going to have a bit of a longer break, about 15 to 20 minutes. So don't go anywhere because we've still got quite a big match, another decider match after the break. So we'll catch you back here after the break.